Fucking Lazio.
I love it. Whenever the episode starts, it's always Jerry with his Roma, Merida, this and that. We actually, though, have a Roma supporter on with us who can argue with Jerry a little bit. Yes, we are live on another episode of the Calcio Connection podcast, connecting with you, Italian football fans from all over the world. I am Alex Donno, alongside my co-host, as always, Jerry Mancini. Jerry, not the best weekend for Lazio. I feel like we've been saying that a lot recently. 2-1 loss. So how you feeling, man?
I'm okay. I guess it's not the end of the world. Let's be honest here. It's a transition period, so there's going to be good, there's going to be bad, and this weekend was pretty bad considering that we had our two best midfielders out and two injuries on separate occasions where we had to start the second half without Pedro and eventually without Mattia Zaccagni. So it's that kind of season overall where it's not going to get any better, I think, but we'll see. It's still half a season to go. Things can turn around, but just not a great weekend for Lazio.
And not great in Europa League either. You guys did qualify, but you had that big matchup with Galatasaray. We talked about it with Turkish Bob last week, who I love that dude. I wish, like, and I'll have him on whenever we get a chance. Like, anytime an Italian side faces a Turkish side, like, I don't know if there's enough interest with our audience in Turkish football to bring him on a more regular basis, but I love that dude. And let's bring on our special guest. I had to live vicariously through this man for a couple of weeks. He was on a vision quest over in the motherland. He was in Italia, and he got to watch, and I don't think he loved it so much given his own allegiances, but you got to witness Inter's probably their best performance, most complete performance of the season so far against a very shorthanded Roma, to be fair, but you got to watch that 3-0 Inter win at the Olimpico, and obviously you were there supporting Roma. But I know your trip was fantastic. I was looking at your photos, everything you were eating, all the matches you were going to. It looked like an awesome time over there, Chris De Santis. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing really well, man. And listen, I know that the elephant in the room here is Inter are on top of the table. I'm not going to take a victory lap because it's still very early in the season. They took care of business against a bad Cagliari side, looked really good doing it on a weekend when Napoli and Milan both dropped points, and Juventus dropped points as well, for what it's worth. So Inter might actually get that winter Scudetto that nobody really seems to want. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes over the next few weeks. But I've been very, very well. And I got to ask you, Chris, before we even get into the Calcio, what were the best things you ate on your trip over there, and did you gain any weight?
Carbonara is my favorite by far, always.
So good, especially in Rome. That's the home of carbonara.
Yeah, that's my favorite. No weight gained actually from so much walking in the metro, walking everywhere. I don't really drive. Everything's accessible through walking, so I just walked everywhere. Much better, more enjoyable that way too. But yeah, no weight gain, thankfully.
That's good, man. and I know Jerry has been dying to go back over there to Italy. In fact, I feel so bad for Jerry because he had a year and a half ago, he had this gigantic trip planned over to Rome. He was going to watch Lazio play, and then literally right before he was supposed to leave, the pandemic got really bad and you had to cancel your trip. So hopefully, Gary, you can get back there and I can get back there because I've been to Italy many times in my life, but I haven't been in 6 years now. I haven't been since 2015. So I want to get back as well.
Oh, it'll be a while before I go back. Oh my God. With how my wife feels right now about traveling, and I don't blame her. She's still trying to settle in. It's different for some people, but in order for me to go, I'll probably have to go with Nando and book a trip with that guy and kind of meet him in Montreal or something. But it'll be not this season, that's for sure.
Yeah, same here. I'm looking hopefully for next season would be awesome if I can go.
Hey, you would know, Chris. basically, do you need to be vaccinated in order to get into the stadium, or
I'm pretty sure if you get a negative COVID test, I think maybe within 48 hours of the game, it could be 24. I'm not sure that you should be good to go because what they gave me before I got on the plane, because I had to get tested 24 hours before I left. They gave me like a temporary green pass. So it was like scannable. It had the QR code. So I think
Okay.
you could use that.
No, I'm saying like when you went to the actual game though, like the game itself, like did they like ask you like did you have to show
Yeah.
a passport to get in or
Yeah,
or
I showed my US vaccination card.
okay, I wasn't sure. That's good to know. That means that
Yeah,
everybody in the actual stadium has to be vaccinated in order to be in there.
I think they'll accept the negative test.
Okay. So okay. Yeah. That means that not necessarily are the people fully
I think
vaccinated.
I don't know from experience because I was
Okay.
vaccinated. I just showed, but I think
Yeah.
that's how it is.
I was just curious. That's all. Because everything that's been going on with the fans and how there's just been recent incidents, and I just think that there's so many scenarios, and it's just weird that it's happening all of a sudden. But
Yeah.
who knows, right? So, and even with the players, there's been 3 players now that have had like I don't know the proper word to say, like cardiac arrest or something like that,
Yeah,
or like
I think so. Yeah,
Someone in
the
a fan,
myocarditis. Yeah,
one was a
leading
fan too.
Yeah.
25-year-old fan had it in the stands.
Jeez.
Yeah, so I don't know what the cause to it is. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist here. You know what I mean? I'll say at the end of the day, you can't rule anything out. You can't be biased.
25 is too young for that.
Yeah,
Way too young.
I don't want to be biased in looking at one angle. I think all scenarios should be looked at. It could be a health concern. It could be it could be the vaccine. I'm not saying you can't rule that out. There's the theory of that. Maybe the fact that there's a medical condition to these players. Maybe they had an injury, a recurring injury that they haven't never took really serious. Who knows, right?
Sometimes people have stuff they don't even know about. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
It just happens.
Yep.
Like Erickson, I don't know the full story of that, but maybe it just happened. I don't know. Maybe just completely unaware.
So it is what it is, but I hope they're okay, and that I think we should now shift to maybe Inter winning 4-0 this weekend. I didn't watch the game. But I love how people think I watch every game and I comment on Inter.
And it's funny you say that because you and I spoke on the phone yesterday, and then like you asked me something about like what games I watch, and then I mentioned something about watching the Inter game, and then I mentioned something about how like after the 4th goal, and you're like, wait, 4 goals? I'm like, oh, you didn't watch it, Jerry? Like I was surprised. that Jerry didn't watch it. No, it was complete annihilation. Cagliari basically they looked like a corpse for most of that match. Like Inter won 4-0 with the chances they created. Honestly, it could have been 7 or 8-0. Like they were right on the doorstep of scoring several other goals. I mean, at times Cranio was standing on his head, and I know you usually don't compliment a keeper who gives up 4 goals in a game, but it could have been much worse if he hadn't have stepped up and made some tremendous saves in that match. Like there were a couple times where he just robbed Inter players of goals, and Inter also had a penalty kick that Lautaro Martinez missed. So right there, that should have been at least 5-0. And like one of the few things that I can nitpick about Inter right now, they're in tremendous form, especially domestically, because they had their loss to Real Madrid last week, which wasn't fun, but they're in tremendous form domestically. I really think that Simone Inzaghi needs to take a harder stance on making Hakan Çalhanoğlu the penalty kick taker. Lautaro Martinez he's even confirmed it. He's their penalty kick taker, and the guy's just not good at it. I mean, he's already missed two PKs this season. In a game that you ultimately win 4-0 and you're not in any danger, didn't really matter that he missed that PK, but the one that he missed in the Milan match did matter because on the score sheet, that was the difference between winning and drawing. So he's cost them at least, 2 points on paper with a missed PK, and you never know when it's going to happen again. And Hakan just looks a lot better at it. But as far as the positives for the performance, Inter were in full control. Cagliari looked very shell-shocked for most of that match. My probably my biggest positive takeaway was the tremendous performance from Nicolo Barella. Because how many times have we talked about him lately, Jerry? And I've never denied he's still a tremendous player, but he's been in a bit of a slump. Like the last couple of months, he's not looked like his former self. He's just looked really, really dead tired, I think, just from playing so many matches and so many competitions, with the Azzurri and with Inter. And he, did recently take a match off. And I thought that in this Cagliari match, he was great. I mean, he had 2 brilliant assists where he's just created these dangerous crosses out of nothing, and had another opportunity where it really should have been a third assist, and had a couple of, nice shots from outside the box that were just off some good strikes. So he was very lively. Çalhanoğlu continues to be really, over the last little over a month, ever since the derby. Like in the derby, Hakan had a great game against Milan, and the momentum has just gone from then. I mean, he was the EA Sports Player of the Month in November, and he had an assist and a ridiculous goal. I know you couldn't catch most of the match, Jerry, but if you saw the goal that Çalhanoğlu scored, it was just a ferocious strike from outside the box. Lautaro scored a couple of goals in this game. Alexis scored a goal that was off of a brilliant assist from Barella. So it was just a really, really nice performance. And obviously you wish every game was that easy. They're obviously not all going to be that easy, but it was just a worry-free, stress-free performance when he came in. Milan had already dropped points over the weekend. Napoli, even though Napoli were already behind Inter, they dropped points. So Inter knew that they needed just a win to go top of the table, and they were able to do it. So I thought it was just a solid, stress-free performance. Chris, were you able to watch any of that one? Did you have any takeaways?
I watched some of it. I got a little bored. I'm not gonna lie. After 3-0,
I
I was like, "This is just gonna be a blowout." It already was. Barella, man, that first assist, I was mind blown. That blew me away. Then the second one too. The second one, a nice ball over the top, right to Lautaro. But yeah, I mean, Inter, it's theirs to lose. Really, the Scudetto. I think they really have to blow it to lose it. To be honest, I think if they can keep on pace and keep their form, I think they're gonna go all the way.
Yeah, and they have I think starting a few weeks from now, they've got a really tough stretch, late January or mid-January into February, where they play. They have a ton of tough Serie A games, and they have the Champions League games with Liverpool. We'll talk about the Champions League draw in a little bit. They have a really tough stretch coming up, but it's I don't stress too much about tough stretches in Serie A, because listen, it's not like the NFL where everybody doesn't play everybody. You're playing the same 19 teams twice, right? So at the end of the day, it's fair. Obviously some games, certain teams will be healthier than other games, but it's not as if Inter are playing, different 19 teams than the other teams in Serie A are playing. And listen, cream rises to the top. If they can keep the form that they're in, and if they can be lucky enough to stay relatively healthy the rest of the way, I feel good about their chances. I'm definitely not sleeping on Milan. I think they could still be a threat. Napoli could absolutely still be a threat. So I think this is going to come down to the wire. It's not going to be nearly as easy as it was last season, and I'm also not guaranteeing an Inter Scudetto. I would never do that. It's we'll see how they if they can emerge from that tough stretch into February being still a point up or just a couple of points down, then they're probably in really good shape. But you look at a team like Milan, they're guaranteed to play at least 3 games less than Inter, because Inter have the Supercoppa and they have at least 2 Champions League matches left. Milan is out of Europe, so I think that could be a huge. Oh, and you know what? 100%. I did leave Atalanta out, and I shouldn't leave Atalanta out, because honestly, I think Atalanta, you could argue they're the other most informed team in Serie A right now. You're absolutely right. I should not have left them out. They're in better form right now than Milan and Napoli. They're arguably in as good or nearly as in good form as Inter. So yeah, I was wrong to leave them out, as Atalanta are are definitely a big threat. There's no question about it. I want to get a little bit more in depth on a couple things with Roma, with Chris. I do want to talk about Mourinho, but before we get to that, I would love to hear about your experience at the Olimpico, because, last season, really the last season and a half, were virtually no fans, if not, at times when they resumed play in 2020, no fans in the stadiums. So for like a year and a half, we forgot what that atmosphere feels like. And, for any match, especially in the big matches, like when I was watching Roma Inter, it sounds great in that stadium. Everybody's singing, chanting the entire match. Even when things weren't going well on the pitch, they never stopped singing. What was that experience like for you?
You hear it on TV, it's like, yeah, it's nonstop singing. It's like, wow, it sounds great. You experience it in person, it's a whole different level of amazing, to say the least. I mean, it feels unreal. Like it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. It's the atmosphere is absolutely insane. The Inter fans at the beginning, they had their own little section. They were pretty loud, to be honest. But before Curva Sud showed up, once Curva Sud showed up, then you couldn't hear the Inter fans anymore. They're probably, they're borderline. They got to be the best in the league. Curva Sud, they're incredible, nonstop the whole match. It's unreal. I don't know. I don't know how the players don't get hype off of that. Like, I don't know how they don't get amped. I'm ready to run through a wall with them, and I'm sitting in the crowd. You know what I mean? I'm ready to run through a wall for them. I don't know how they can start so flat-footed. It's just mind-boggling. It's like I don't know.
It's different when you're a player, though. I think that because you play so much and you train so much, and it becomes really mentally tired and physically tiring. You know what I mean? Like, I know you're saying you get that adrenaline off the fans. It should get you going, but it's not always the case. You don't know what the players are going through. Like,
yeah,
they're trained to tune us out, and they do a good job at it. I gotta be honest. Like,
they do.
Like, when I play ball hockey, I do feed off 10 people screaming in the crowd. And like, why? When I hold on, when the wives come and the guys bring their wives to watch the games, I love like making them have to see their boyfriends lose. It's awesome.
Yeah,
because it's like, hey, you're on the your husband or your boyfriend just lost to us. But like, it's hard because the fans can only do so much for you, but you as an individual, if you're a mediocre player, you're not going to make them better. you actually, if anything, you might make them worse if you start booing them and put the actual pressure on them.
Yeah, the pressure, that's a big thing.
Yeah, like when you have 30,000 fans going nuts against Inter, it's not just like, oh yeah, we got that momentum. It's also if we screw up, it's no longer we have 30,000 encouraging us. It's 30,000 boos. It's 30,000 Mourinho's out. It's 30,000 guy out. So, and I've seen it happen with Lazio before 3 seasons ago when Wallace screwed up 3 times against Atalanta. We lost 3-1, and the whole stadium booed every time he touched the ball. Can you imagine 20,000 fans booing you?
The second Inter went up 1-0. The entire team just got flat-footed, and they were like, you know what, we're out of here. You know what I mean? Mentally, they were gone. The second it went down 1-0, that was it. They started off, pretty quick.
Yeah, in like the first 15 seconds, they created a good chance. Like I was nervous. I'm like, man, Roma showed up to play today.
I was pumped, and then 1-0, and then that was it. And I'm like, oh, here we go. And then it was 2-0, and then it was 3-0, and I'm like, oh, there's no way. I mean, they played better in the second half, but they still didn't. It was too late, and they didn't create anything, so that didn't help either. But
what about Zaniolo? Did everybody think that Zaniolo scored in the stadium? Like, did you guys all think that?
The angle I
forgot about that.
The angle I was at, I stood up on my seat. I was ready to go, and everyone around me was ready to go, and then it got called out. It was a rip. I thought that was in. that would have been a great goal, but
You know what? That's actually a good question to ask. What did you think about Zaniolo, actually? Now that you got to see him in person, do you think that he's still a step behind and still needs time to get to that level where we used to see him at? Like,
yeah,
it takes time, right? And
I
you
mean,
watching a player live is so different.
basically he's always, I mean, he's always ready to go. He's always ready to he wants the ball at his feet. He wants to be that guy, and you can tell. But if you think about it, he's basically missed 2 straight years. You know what I mean? When he has played, it hasn't been for long before he gets injured. So I think people need to give him a break and give him a chance to, get going. He still has to get used to, well, what Mourinho wants to do, what Mourinho wants of him, playing alongside Tammy now. He's in a different spot than he was when, the season started. I think when Spina gets back as well, the link up between Spina and,
When is that supposed to happen, by the way? Like pretty
next
soon,
month.
right? Like a month or
Next
two?
month. Yeah,
Next
next
month?
month.
Wow.
Hopefully,
That's slow progress, man. That you don't want to rush. That's a serious
No,
injury.
Yeah, that's
a serious
another
injury.
thing. People are like, "Oh, when Spina gets back, Spina," but they got to give him a chance. They got to let him, slowly get back. He's been training on his own, but people need to give him a chance to get himself together, get back into playing shape. But
He won't
I
be
think
playing
he-
till March.
Well, he won't be full form, I think. It's like those, and it's crazy because like Achilles injuries now, like you can come back from them, sure, but it's like they're harder now to come back from than I think even ACLs are. Like it's crazy because I think they've gotten so good. It wasn't like that, 20 years ago, but I think they've gotten so good now at the ACL surgeries that a lot of times, not everybody, of course, but a lot of times, like sometimes guys come back stronger than they were before from those. But the Achilles now, I think, is the tougher injury.
knock on wood, but Zaniolo is he got pretty built in his off time when he was down. You could see he bulked up and gained more muscle, so he'd be able to, I guess, so his body would be able to defend itself better, towards collisions and stuff like that. But so far so good. He hasn't, he has his moments, but
That's a good point you just said. If a player bulks up and gets bigger, that will really hinder your speed as well.
It can.
Like, it can really hurt the way you run. Not
yeah,
He still looks fast though to me.
No, don't get me wrong. You're still
Yeah.
a fast player, but when you put muscle on, it's gonna slow you down a bit.
you're gonna lose a little bit.
You're gonna lose a bit of speed, and I
I think
think
it'll
that,
make you tired quicker. I think is the bigger thing.
say that again.
It'll make you tired quicker. I think. Like the more muscle
Yeah.
you have, like you look at a guy like Brozovic, for example, like he's built like a marathon runner. Like he doesn't have a lot of muscle. He doesn't have a big frame. The guy just runs like a gazelle all around the field, all for 90 minutes, right?
He's a beast.
Where it's like that's the sort of body for that. I think if you have more muscle, I think you're gonna be tired potentially more frequently.
Yeah.
That's a good point you said there, Chris. Like the weight, if he needs it, all the power to him. And I think the banter of how he hasn't scored a goal yet has a lot to do with a lot of fans, not just Roma fans. I think it's fans in general, where they hyped him up that he was going to come back this season. He was going to tear up the league and score 10, 15 goals. And like
people just need
Yeah.
to settle down,
And-
give him time. He's 22. I mean,
Yeah.
they're comparing him to Chiesa. Chiesa's 24. He essentially had 2 more years of growing than Zaniolo, because Zaniolo missed pretty much the past 2 years. People need to settle down, give him a chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'll get there.
No, and
I think
honestly, and to your point, I think the biggest difference, and I'm not trying to directly compare them because I know like the Chiesa fanboys will get upset. Like I'm not trying to make any sort of comparison between the two players, but I think a big difference between the two of them is just the experience. Like you think about all the experience Chiesa has had. I mean, going from Fiorentina to a much bigger club in Juventus, and playing more important matches there, winning a Euro with the Azzurri and being a key piece in that, being one of the better players in that tournament. Obviously, he's earned it. Like he's the one out there performing, but that experience goes such a long way. And
Yeah.
Zaniolo just doesn't even have a fraction of that yet at this point.
No,
Yeah,
people need to give the man a chance. You know what I mean? 2 years out, he's basically been gone since he was 20. You know what I mean? People got to relax.
So I wanted to ask you, because I think you have very good perspective on this, on Jose Mourinho and the way that he's covered. Oh, and perfect
Here we
question
go.
there by Toluwani. So he says Roma squad isn't as people make it out to be. The press are being unfair, and I agree with that, because every time Mourinho loses a match, when his Roma lose a match, it's always, his job. There are rumors, which I don't think are true, that his job is no longer secure at Roma, this, that, and the other. Now, I'm going to give you two options, and maybe you have a completely different answer for why there's so much impatience with the way he's covered. And it might be both of these things. I know the Roman press, very impatient, very, very harsh group there. And then you also, just, to me, I think a lot of this just comes with the territory with Mourinho, because it's impossible for football journalists to cover this guy without the baggage of his previous experiences. Like, people just can't cover Mourinho the same way that they could cover a Max Allegri, because he's been so volatile, and he's burned out at so many other clubs over the last handful of years. And it's like, I just think every time Mourinho takes a job, people are going to cover him, in the press and fans. They're going to bring their biases against him into play here, right? Because, I mean, very few people in the international football press have love for Mourinho outside of, like, Inter fans, right? Like, because they remember the treble. Most other people, like, oh, well, look at the way he bottled it at United and what happened at Tottenham. Like, you come in with these biases against him. Do you think it's more about that, or is it just more about the press in Rome being just incredibly impatient?
I think when he takes a job, people, at least recently, the second he takes a job, people are already banking on him failing.
Yep.
So they could instantly get that headline. You know what I mean? Like, besides Roman media, a lot of it is English media as well, that are like, they're making up stuff at this point. I've seen some crazy stuff. There's a guy on Twitter, I don't know, I can't remember his name, but he basically will make a thread posting all the links of English media just bashing Mourinho, and it's been insane. The articles are unreal, but I think people are basically banking on him to fail just so they could throw out the headline. What also rubs me the wrong way is, like, okay, Sarri was missing his two best midfielders, right? And he lost. And Spalletti is missing half his team. And it's like, oh, Spalletti and Sarri are missing, so-and-so. That's why they lost. But Mourinho is missing, Spina, Pellegrini, and El Shaarawy. He could be missing, half the team, and it's, why didn't Mourinho do better? You know what I mean? No one gives him a break. You know what I mean? But I think eventually he's going to shut everyone up. I really do. Depending on the transfer window, he's going to need more than one more transfer window to do what he wants. We lack in so many areas. Smalling could possibly miss the Atalanta match. That would be absolutely huge. That would be huge.
Yeah, I'd like to see you guys.
Did Smalling get hurt? Did he get hurt at the end?
Yeah, something.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, so he's supposedly in question for the Atalanta match. That would be an incredible loss, considering we really need that match. We really do. I mean,
I need you to win that match.
I'm not banking on it. I'm not counting on anything, but we really need that. But people need to give him time. I mean, everyone's backing him up. Totti's backing him up. They're also, pretty much everyone who's ever been important to Roma is backing him up. I mean, I think at this point, people need to listen to them rather than a bunch of assholes on Twitter who don't know what the hell they're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to trust Francesco Totti over some guy with 20 followers on Twitter saying Mourinho out. You know what I mean? Just, people need to just relax.
Well, so in your mind, what sort of progress do you see? Because I know that hold on, like we got this comment from Hamza. And by the way, you guys please utilize the live comments, man. We flash a lot of these on the screen. Like he says, under Fonseca, at least it looked like progress. Like what have you seen?
Fonseca had Spina. You know what I mean?
Right.
Spina, look how much the Azzurri missed without Spina and his creativity. Spina is gonna be a huge addition once he gets back into form. You know what I mean? I think Tammy Abraham is slowly getting into form. Still hitting posts. He should have at least 18 goals by now, but I think eventually he'll get there. We need to start finishing is what the biggest problem is here, because we're creating the chances, but we're not capitalizing on them. I think people just need to give the man time.
Yeah, and actually, all three of us here, we're seeing our clubs overseen by new coaches. Jerry, are you getting impatient at all with Sarri ball? You're a patient guy. I know you've been preaching that with Sarri when certain Lazio fans are starting to get a little bit. There's some unrest I see. Are you having any doubts about the process?
I want to piggyback actually first on Maurizio Sarri. Like, I agree that he needs time, just like Sarri needs time, absolutely. But I think the problem with Sarri out compared to like Spalletti and Sarri right now is that, so with Mourinho out compared to Spalletti and Sarri, is that
wake up, Jerry.
Is that here's the
Are you
thing.
Watching the Oilers?
Wait, yeah, it's in the background.
I knew it.
In the background. I can't. It's the biggest game of the year. When the Leafs play the Oilers, it's me versus Toronto. That's what it is. Okay, that's what it comes down to. But they're on the power play right now, and their power play is amazing.
And he scored?
It's just started right now, 2 minutes
okay.
in. They're cycling it, and they're moving it, and they missed.
Oh, you should be a play-by-play guy. That was brilliant.
But what's it called? Here's the thing: when you throw your players underneath the bus, and you call players out, when you slam your players down to the ground, and you start going negative to the media, the immediate reaction is Mourinho out. Mourinho's failed already. Mourinho's already lost the team. Mourinho's lost the dressing room. It's not the results that people are looking at. It's the reaction he's giving after games, and what people are thinking is, well, it's a trickle effect. If you're going to call up three guys, I forgot who they were after the game in Norway, I believe it was, where Bobo Glimp, and you call three players, it's a bad sign. You're ruining their morale. You know what I mean? Like it's you don't want to do that immediately. You want to build your players. You want to get them to a higher level, and you're not going to get that if you're always going to be bitching after a loss, right?
The whole team is definitely not trash, by the way.
I love this comment, and this is from the legend Lord Figo.
It's Lord Figo, man.
I love this dude.
Pellegrini is not trash. Zaniolo's not trash. Abraham is he can do better.
He's not 41 million. I'll tell you that much. I'm a Chelsea fan.
I think eventually he can be worth what we paid. He's young, and it's going to be no one bought. We didn't buy Tammy Abraham and expecting him to throw him out and score us 25 goals in his first season. We know it's not going to happen.
Hold on, no, that's bullshit. Because when you buy Murici for 20 million, you're expecting goals. So when you're buying somebody for 41 million,
but Tammy has done a lot more. He's done a lot more than Murici has. To be fair,
he has. I'll give you that. I've seen what he does in Chelsea. You know what? He can score against the bottom table teams. And you know what? That's more than Murici can do. Okay. I'll give him that. But for 41 million, I have not seen this guy ever scored against a top.
He should have at least 18 goals right now. If it wasn't for the damn crossbar and posts, he should like in total competition, he should have at least 18 goals right now.
And he hit at least one against Spezia yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
I can remember.
Yeah, yep, he did. He's the king of hitting the. If
But I don't think that would have helped
goals.
I don't think it would have counted anyway. I think it would have been it was ruled offside. No, that the crossbar when he hits it.
No, it wasn't.
No.
That was. I think they had a chance at a rebound after that. I don't think that. I think that one would have counted.
Okay.
Seven total posts he's hit.
Wow.
7.
Jeez. So 7, not 6. That's crazy. I mean, it's
he's at 10 goals, I believe, right now in all competitions. So
Wow.
that should be 17 goals. You know what I mean?
If my aunt had a pair of balls, she'd be my uncle. I mean,
yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
it is what it is. What it is.
I mean,
you're gonna hit some. 7 is a lot, but you're gonna hit some posts.
What about Eldor? You like Eldor?
No.
What do you think about him?
I mean, I think it was I don't know.
Just be honest. Don't worry. I call it as it is.
I don't know. I don't know
right?
I think what we paid for him, it wasn't worth it for barely using him. I think him and Tammy are too alike. Too alike to be playing together.
Okay.
That's I don't know. He's not used enough to. What think will we buy him for? 17 million, I believe.
More than that, I would think. But you know better than me, man. Fucking.
I think it was 7. Well, somewhere around there. It wasn't. We shouldn't have paid that for him to sit him on the bench. You know what I mean? Especially with Mayoral, I think he could have been more useful than what we've been using him for.
Fuck.
You know.
You know what? That's all I was gonna say. Like you have a striker who could probably play similar. You have Borja Marial. I don't know why you're not playing. He got a chance yesterday to play. I thought he was okay, but I actually watched the whole Spezia game versus Roma.
It was a good game. I mean, Spezia had some chances as well.
Yeah, Spezia had their chances. They sure did. Thank God that the goal they scored was way offside.
Yeah.
I think they could have won that game if Thiago Motta knew how to manage a game better.
He's so bad, man. I love Thiago Motta, but he's not a manager. I mean,
Bastoni should have started the game. He was their best game player in the second half.
Those great crosses. Yeah.
I don't think Shomurodov is bad, but I think for the amount we paid and the amount we're using him, it doesn't
sum up.
It doesn't make sense.
Well, again, that's for a lot of players. I agree with you.
But I mean, it is what it is. It's too late now. You know what I mean?
So Jerry, you piggybacked on the Mourinho stuff, but I don't want you to dodge the Sarri question. How you feeling? How you feeling about the cigarette man?
I'm fine with him. It's a work in progress. That's what it is. Yeah. Like if people are thinking that Lazio's going to become first place overnight, it's not happening. Here's the concern I have about Sarri. Okay, it's not that can he implement it. I hate when people say that. Oh, he failed at Juventus. He failed at Chelsea. No, he was never given the time to kind of do what he needs to do. A guy like him, a guy like Mourinho needs time. You can't just expect results in a year. Lazio has been built around Simone Inzaghi for 5 years. These are Simone Inzaghi players. They have been adapted to play a certain way. It's not that easy to change Luis Alberto's mind and tell him to play defense all of a sudden and to track back and to run forward. It's a different mindset. And there are certain players, I think, that have kind of excelled under Sarri. Luis Felipe won. I think he's been our best defender. Who else? I think Savage has shown signs. I don't think he's been as bad. Cataldi started off well, but has really dipped. Yeah. I think the best players. The heck was that? I think it was. Well, aside from Pedro is a Sarri player, so it's not fair to even mention him. I think Immobile has really strived under Sarri this season. I think that he's really adapted to playing to the 4-3-3 and has proven that he could do it. And
I hope I feel the same way about that come March with those World Cup qualifiers.
Zaccagni has looked really good in recent time.
Yeah, he has.
Felipe Anderson started the season well, but he forgot that we don't have to only play Inter this season. We have to play other teams. So it kind of drives me nuts because the guy's hot and cold. So there are signs where there are certain players, but I saw a video actually tonight before the pod. Lazio had their Christmas party, and Claudio Lotito actually gave a strong speech.
Really?
And yeah, and his speech, he's like, I'm behind Maurizio Sarri 100%. He has a vision. He has a passion for the game, and I'm fully committed around him. And he said we are extending his contract another 2 more years.
Nice.
So I take that serious because the way he said Forza Lazio once he was done was like really serious. And I think I look at it 2 ways. He's either out to prove Simone Inzaghi wrong, that this team is ready to take the next step, or like also like he has to be ready to spend money. To have a guy like Sarri, you have to spend money. You don't just bring him in and expect him that he's going to work miracles with the team that Simone Inzaghi had. Like, it's just not going to happen like that. You need to buy players, and I don't expect it to be done in the winter transfer market. But
by the way, answer that one down below if you have any thought on that, Jerry. How do you? If Faiz 1908 says, Jerry,
I'll
how
answer
do you
that in a
think about,
second.
Yeah, let me just read it so if anyone's listening to the audio only that they know what I'm talking about. We get this question in the live chat. Jerry, how do you think about swap rumors between Luis Alberto and Artur? Do you like it?
I'll answer that in a second, but
sure.
Like I was saying, they have to buy a player or two in the transfer market for January to prove to Sarri that they're for real. And I think the first thing they need to do is to buy a backup striker to Immobile. That is the first priority.
Oh, give me a break.
You need a backup striker because at the end of the day, if you don't buy a backup striker to Immobile, not only will he die out with Lazio, he won't even make it to play for Italy. And people are gonna say, "Well, good, don't bring him. We don't need him." All right, well, guess what? When you have a 22-year-old in whatever Scamacca or Raspadori, who's don't think they're just going to step up and improve in the biggest moment. These guys are still inexperienced. They're not playing for Sassuolo versus Benevento versus Genoa, say. This ain't fucking Serie A where it's a different mindset, different atmosphere, different everything. Like the pressure is on. Like you need to deliver. So it's not that easy. You don't just go in and it's just like that. Snap your fingers. But in regards to this deal, I think it's shit. I think it's garbage. I think it's bullshit.
Yeah, I think it's bullshit too.
I love how people are calling me out that my opinions are shit. You don't know shit. Good. I don't know shit. I do. I do not, because I do not work for ESPN. I don't work for CBS Sports. The special people get to work for these fucking goddamn sites. Are these places, okay? I don't work for them. I just give my opinion of what I think, and that's it. Fuck's sakes. How did you miss that open net, you son of a fuck's sakes?
Well, what a multitasker.
But like, come on. 60 million? How is Artur valued 60 million? What has he done to earn 60? This is Juventus all of it.
Well, what wasn't that the swap deal that's being investigated right now? I mean, the inflated valuations.
I mean, but at the same time, you got to think if someone wants a player, so say Juve wants 60 million. If Lazio think he's worth 60 million and they're willing to pay 60 million, I don't see the issue. A player is only worth as much as someone's willing to pay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you show me somebody willing to pay 60 million for him, I'll show you a sucker. Is all I'm saying.
I mean, I agree, but the guy's done nothing.
Do you know who Lotito is? The goddamn day that guy thinks that Artur is valued at 60 million. We value freaking Sergei Milinkovic-Savic at 150 million, for God's sake. Like, Lotito's never gonna spend 60 million or value that. Okay, yeah, he's a criminal. That is right. But I'm just saying, like, and here's another thing people are not understanding. Luis Alberto in his clause has a kickback. So if they sell Alberto for 60 million right now, I think 10 or 15% goes to Liverpool. That's just how the deal works. So there's like a redemption clause. And that hassle has to be weighed in if they sell Alberto. Lazio's speech went like this: We cannot stop Inter from winning Lord Figo's Scudetto.
Lord Figo is on fire.
Lord Figo.
The only one who's going to stop Inter from winning the Scudetto is Inter. That's it.
Lazio's the only team to beat Inter.
That's true. Say. That is very true.
So
and
I don't
the rematch is coming up, Jerry, in like, what is it, January 10th, something like that?
You want to know how? Because of all the controversy.
Lazio merda, that's how.
And yeah, that's great. I
agree, Chris. I agree.
You can say Lazio
no
merda.
Sportsmanship. Zero sportsmanship, Lazio.
Hey, Felipe
Anderson was like, I don't care if there's a corpse lying on the field. I'm going to score the goal.
Good. Fuck, finally, man. I've seen so many players do this now where like they just run by players lying on the ground.
Yeah.
And like,
if he dies, he dies.
I mean, they should, because half the time you don't know if people are faking it or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the problem. That's the problem, though. Bro, we were talking about this tonight, me and Joseph from Forza Napoli podcast. Go watch football games back in the 90s. People wouldn't be rolling around like chickens, okay? Freaking like squids. They get tackled. Like Nesta goes into a player, tackles you, and he doesn't cry. He keeps going. Yeah. Like players took a beating back in the 90s. Now it's like you're asking to get a call. Like it's ridiculous. The game has changed so much to the point
if you go back and like you watch the Maradona documentary that came out a couple years ago, the guy used to get mugged all over the pitch. It was crazy. Like stuff that would have been fouls, yellow cards left and right weren't even called back then in like the 80s and early 90s. It was crazy just how much different.
That's what makes what he did so much more amazing. Like,
yeah,
it's insane.
But there's another question. I want to answer a question for Jorge before we get off.
Sure.
No, that's not it.
Jerry watching his Oilers. Well, that he was right on the head on that one.
Thoughts on Lazio versus Porto knockout draw? He asked me.
Porto's gonna kick the shit out of you.
I don't know actually. I don't know.
Depends on what Lazio shows up.
Yeah.
I mean, what version of Lazio shows up.
Yeah.
You gotta look at it like this. We're in January. We're in December, right?
Yeah.
By then, it can be sorry ball. It could be the best Ciro Immobile of his life. It could be the best Sergei Milinkovic-Savic, or on the downside, it could be that the team hasn't progressed and it could be Ciro Immobile playing bad. It's possible.
Ciro from the Azzurri.
Like you don't know, but 2.5 months.
I get it. You're mad
time,
you
man.
sold us Zaniolo. It's okay.
Well, like, at the end of the day, it's everything can change. Inter could go be playing Liverpool at the best freaking form, and they have all these players ready to go. And Liverpool could be out with 3 guys because of the African Cup. So like there's Salah and 2 other, I think Keita and somebody else. I forgot. I was reading that though, but you don't know what form they'll be in by then. You don't know if Porto has injuries. There's so many circumstances.
Yeah, it's a long way away.
It's a long way away. So for me, I think the biggest thing is how does Lazio progress by then? I think that can they beat Porto? I truly believe they can if they're at their best. I've seen Lazio this year under Sarri where there have been games where they've looked really good. They protect the ball. They pass the ball with crisply. Like they look very hungry to win. And then there's games where they just can't kind of put it together. They're either tired or they can't play on 3 games in a week, or it's just demanding. There's something to it. Their record after they play in the Europa League is atrocious. They only have 1 win. Yeah. And like it at the end of the day, it's by then it's what kind of team do you get, right? And I think another thing that's important to look at is how do these teams kind of do in the transfer market? Do they strengthen their squad in order to help them? And I think playing a team like Porto might entice Lazio to spend a little bit more because they see that they need extra players in order to beat a team like Porto. Maybe
right.
And Porto first in the
first leg. They're home.
No, first. Are they first in the league?
Probably.
In the Portuguese league. I don't even
Probably.
know.
There's only 2 good teams in the league anyways, Benfica
Three.
and Porto and Sporting, that's right.
Yeah.
But
Sporting right now is the best of the 3.
But I'll leave it like this, okay? Had we gone Sheriff, and I credit Vittorio for this on Lazio Lounge because he said this, not me, and I like this point. If Lazio plays a lesser opponent, they play to their level. That's just the way Lazio plays. I don't know how Inter and everybody else plays, but Lazio is so used to playing to their opponent's level. So when they play a Spezia, they play like Spezia. When they play it, no, seriously, when they play,
you're right. I'm laughing because it's
telling
true.
you, it's true because
Yeah,
when we played Inter, we played at a higher level.
you guys look great in that match.
The only team that we didn't play good against was Napoli, and that was because the whole Maradona thing. Okay,
Yeah,
and I'm telling you right now.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
That's where I'll credit Chris. When you have 60,000 fans in a stadium going nuts, you have Boca Junior fans, you got all types of fans of Maradona. You're doing a freaking ceremony for Maradona. What do you think is going to happen? Team's ramped up, the crowd's ramped up, and you're done. You're done, man. Like, there's that team, sorry I said it that day. Even when we played at our best, we still would have lost because that's how good Napoli came out. They were on point. They came out, and after that, what happened? They haven't been the same since that game.
No.
They've struggled.
And they've been very injured. I will add that in.
No, that's true,
They have
man.
struggled.
They have, but I'm just saying there's a lot of factors. But
yeah.
I in a way, playing Porto is a blessing in disguise because it will push Lazio to play better. That's 100%. Like, and I'm a firm believer that when you play a mediocre team, it kind of affects the way you play. So at the end of the day, I do believe that Porto should win this, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if somehow Lazio came out winning. Like, that's and especially the fact that Lazio has the second leg at home, it is very, very key for these.
Yeah, if anyone shows up.
Well, there's a lot. Here's a factor to that. I think, and I'll credit Roma to this actually, because they've done a better job than Lazio. They put their tickets on sale. They do discount promotions. They did a Boxing Day sale where if you buy the tickets the day on Boxing Day, you get like 20% off, say. I believe they have season ticket holders this year where you can buy X amount of games and like there's a price. Lazio's not doing that this year.
That's crazy.
It's really
that's
stupid.
Surprising to me.
There's no promotion.
Like €300 to watch us get blown out by Inter.
That's money well spent, my friend. That was the best game of the season.
Like Vittorio was explaining on the pod, like he lives in Rome, and it's really bad because a lot of the fans are kind of not going because of the fact that they just haven't really lowered the prices and trying to accommodate the fans. So So like there are single ticket game prices, and the fact that the way you buy the tickets is kind of confusing too, and they haven't really made it easy for Lazio fans to buy the tickets. Like last year, I think, or the year before, they had like actual season ticket holder packages and all that stuff. Like they just haven't done anything to entice them to go.
The Roma process is so easy. It's just it's normal. It's not really easy.
It hurts, and also the fact that when you're playing a game on a Thursday night, 2:45, and I know Roma played last night, 2:45. Again, when you get home at 11 o'clock, a lot of these people are not going to go and watch a game and come home at 12 o'clock at night. Like, in reality, I guess Roma are willing to go. I don't know what the circumstance. I can't speak for Lazio though. I'm just throwing out theories. You know what I mean? I don't live in Rome to know what the situation is. Like, apparently, like they're not happy with the accommodation of like not trying to accommodate the fans and trying to make the pricing better than. I know we say, oh, it's only $20, but that's us. We don't know the lifestyle is in Italy. Are they working? Are they not working? Maybe they don't have jobs. Like, we don't know their lifestyle, right? So I don't know. Like, I just know that they don't make it easy for Lazio fans to buy tickets. It's really bad. Like, it's not. the fans speak out during the games. They call out Latito to lower prices. They call out Latito to make it easier. They do actual season. Like, why would you not want to do a season ticket holder package where if you buy 10
It doesn't
games,
make sense not to. Like,
you know what I mean?
when you told me the other day that they don't have those this year, I was dumbfounded. Like,
especially after the pandemic, why wouldn't you try
Yeah.
and make as much money as possible?
like
I
make
don't-
it
Just don't.
easy as possible for people to lock in long-term commitments to go to games, because that's what's going to help you make some of that revenue back.
Again, I don't live in Rome, so I don't like to criticize.
Yeah.
Yeah, I respect the fact that Roma had 30,000 fans yesterday, or 20,000,
40,000.
40,000
40,
sure.
yeah.
to watch fucking Spezia. Like, hey man, good on them, but I guess Lazio has a different. Again, there's a bigger fan base for Roma
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Like
smaller
that-
fan base
that-
for Lazio.
We're a very smaller fan base compared to
The
Roma.
team of
Like,
Rome.
I don't know, man. It's been a while since you guys won.
It don't matter. It's been a while since the Knicks have won too, and we're still more loved than the Nets.
Oh
So
God,
it's
I
the
hate
same-
the
it's
Knicks.
just-
I don't want
it's
to
just-
have to argue
it's-
with you. I mean, I'm
it's
a Heat
Fucking
fan.
Knicks. The
It's the
Knicks.
same
Oh
thing.
god.
It's like the Yankees and the Mets. You know,
I don't look at the crowd. I look at trophies. And my team's been able to win trophies the last decade, so
Hold on,
I'll be happy with that more than.
But before we wrap up this episode, I want to get into the Champions League draw.
You saved him.
And then the real draw. I did. I saved Jerry from getting bodied by Chris over there. So, and you mentioned, Jerry, Inter drawing Liverpool second time around. I don't really have much expectation. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm expecting Inter to advance past Liverpool. It's going to be really, really tough. I will say, though, I think the football is going to be very entertaining because you have two very attacking sides going up against one another. So I think for neutrals, Liverpool Inter is going to be a lot of fun. Maybe less fun for me as an Interista because I just don't think that we have the firepower that Liverpool have to go tit for tat with them in these games. But I think it's going to be a really, really fun cup tie to watch, Champions League round of 16 tie to watch. And kind of like to build on, because we were talking about coaches for our clubs. I'm really, really starting to buy in and fall in love with Inzaghi ball because, I mean, Jerry, they're really settling in. And I'm not somebody who really prefers certain styles to other styles. I'm perfectly fine. As long as you're getting results, I'm fine with Catenaccio. I'm fine with counterattacking. Like I really enjoyed watching Conte's team last year sometimes get outpossessed like 65% to 35% and still win games 3-0 because they did that a couple times last year. I'm totally fine with that, but I am enjoying the creativity, the improvisation of watching Inzaghi ball in action. And obviously Hakan Çalhanoğlu, as I mentioned near the top of the show, he's just been unbelievable for about the last 5 weeks. He's been great. Barella's getting back into form. Denzel Dumfries is starting to figure it out on the right side, which is really, really important. He's put in some good performances lately. We're seeing Lautaro get some of his confidence back in scoring goals. Alexis scored his first goal of the season in Serie A. He's kind of had like a roller coaster this year. He's been a little bit unhappy. You had the chance to rest Dzeko. Jerry's guy Correa, unfortunately, has been kind of in and out with injuries. He's played well at times, not as well at other times, but I'm really enjoying it. But let's talk a little bit about the draw over the weekend. What did you make of the fuck up, Jerry? Because and I love the fact that UEFA screwed up with Man United, and then they got called out on it, and then they realized, and then they ultimately agreed to redraw. And they blame it on everyone but themselves. Like they blame it on like a third party company that does their software. It's like they don't want to take the blame for anything under the sun. And then you piss off everybody by having to redraw the entire thing. And listen, it is what it is. Like fair draw, Inter ended up with Liverpool. It's annoying, but it is what it is. But it's disappointing because in the original Fugazi draw, Inter got a much better looking matchup with Ajax, something I believed, hey, we can win this. And then they redraw at Liverpool. Oh, not so much. Juventus originally got Sporting, and then they redrew and they got Villarreal. I would certainly have more confidence in Juventus in the round of 16 than Inter going up against Liverpool. But what did you make of that, Jerry? I'll start with you. It's like UEFA obviously botched it, and then they didn't even take any of the blame for it.
I don't like to. I don't know. This is a very, I guess, an embarrassing moment for them. It is what it is. People are gonna have different theories about why you're gonna have the Matthews. I'm watching this NHL game and I'm thinking about Austin Matthews almost scoring here. Juventus getting treatment. You're gonna get like, oh, this team got treatment. Oh, it's the Agnelli treatment. That treatment. It happens. It was a screw up. We don't know why or how. They're saying it's software. I think the moment was when they screwed up with the ball when they said that Man United, and they're like, oh, Man United's in the same group. We have to pick a different ball.
Yeah, that's what was it? Was it Man United Villarreal that they matched up, that they were in the same fucking group?
Yeah, and that was when like it gotta, like, it should have been red flag right there. And when you do that, it's like, okay, how did this even happen? But it sucks for Inter because they got drawn Ajax. And it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you got to play the best teams.
Right.
So if you're not going to play them in the round of 16, well, guess what? You're going to play them in the round of 8.
You got to beat the best to be the best. You know what I mean?
Like, it doesn't really matter. You think you're going to dodge Man City for 4 rounds?
Well,
like,
I mean, the only argument to be made, though, is, and like, I agree with you, but the financial incentives go up the farther you go. So it's like, if you did have an easier round of 16 matchup and you got to the final 8, then you make more money.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Okay,
better to play him now and get it out of the way.
Maybe.
It's okay, Inter makes enough money.
It sucks because your first.
I don't know about that ownership though, Jerry. I mean,
your first match is at home, so say, that might not be good.
Well, goal differential doesn't really matter. So
no, they well, yeah, and
they got rid of that.
The away goal.
Yeah, they got rid of the away goal. I think Inter can win this. I said on Twitter that Inter can win it, man. I'm standing by that. I
think they can.
I'm sorry, man. Like, I know that Barella is gonna miss at least a game.
Yeah, I didn't even mention that. I think he's gonna miss both games for a direct red. I think he's probably gonna miss both games.
I think he'll just get one for some reason. But here's the thing: it's not even Barella. I think the biggest player that people are forgetting that really can make a difference is Vidal. Vidal is the guy who I look at in this whole midfield, because what the amount of experience that this guy has in playing Champions League for Barcelona is unreal.
And Bayern as well.
Juve.
Like, that's why you brought this guy here. You didn't bring this guy to go play freaking 45 minutes against Milan. It's the whole point is that he's there to help them in the Europa League. Sorry, in Champions League. I'm butchering this, but his experience is important. Like, those are the kind of guys you have there to help you win these kind of games, and I think that he is shown to have those big key games. He did it against Juventus. I think it was last season, like, where he can come in and make a big difference, even if he plays 60 minutes or off the bench. Like, this is a guy who can man mark and basically, like, do what needs to be done. So, God damn it, the Leafs. But, like, I'm telling you, man, that's a guy who I really look at. You got a strong back end there where Bastoni is really going to get tested, and I think the experience is going to come in.
Davidai's back. He came back after about 5 weeks off from injury, so that's good. And he had a kind of a poor start to the season, but obviously we've seen it over the last several years. He's can be a great center back, so hopefully he gets back into form.
So I don't see why they couldn't do it.
Conference League is better than the Champions League anyway. I don't care.
Yeah, look, Lord Figo is shot out of a cannon today. I love how, like, not only has he been trash talking Chris the entire episode, He refers to you as Roma fan with the glasses on. He's been every message he writes in. No UCL for you, so don't worry about Liverpool. Worry about your 6th place spot.
It's all right.
My guy. Oh, he is on fire today.
Conference League is elite. It's all right.
That's the elite competition. It's the newest great competition out there. But
I
yeah,
think
listen,
Barella getting that red card is the only way he's gonna get rest.
right. He might have been thinking that. Like, God, I'm so tired. Let me just punch somebody in the leg, get some time off.
I'm also curious to see how. Actually, no, never mind. That's actually Europe. The Coppa Italia week. That means nothing. I was gonna say who are they playing before and after their Liverpool match is really important as well to see how he manages his.
That's when
bench.
they have a tough stretch. Like, that's right around Supercoppa against Juventus, and they're gonna try to win that. Like, it's not.
No,
like
that's isn't that the week of that game there is when they play Lazio on the Saturday and I think Atalanta on the next Saturday. Yeah. That's their rough stretch. But
yeah.
Like I said, don't count out Simone Inzaghi. He has a better team. He has depth. He'll have with an idea. He was there last year with Lazio, and kind of it kind of broke down in the first game. But I think that had he had a few defenders, would have done a better
Dzeko's got
job.
the experience too.
Dzeko too. Yeah,
Dzeko's been in some big games.
He's having a good year. Really good year.
I think this is a better team than Juventus, and like
right now, sure, yeah.
Like just Champions League experience too. Like just overall, like no one's really talked about Juve, but everybody just automatically, oh, you're playing Liverpool, it's done. Why is it done though, man? Like why can't it be done? Like this is not Lazio he's managing. This is not Patrick in the backfield. You know what I mean? This is not Musacchio in the back end. Like.
It's just because everyone is so into the Premier League being the elite league that they just completely anyone Liverpool plays unless it's another Premier League team, they're just going to completely write them off.
Yeah, and also like being on my side of it, with the way that things have gone for Inter in Champions League the last few years, it's like then they got through the group finally for the first time in 4 straight seasons, so that's good. But you still have a little bit of PTSD, and like you kind of saw that in the 2 games against Real Madrid in the group stage this year and last year, for that matter, where you just I don't know, I like there's so much confidence domestically with the way they've been playing in Serie A, but just in Europe, I don't think we're fully there yet. Like as a fan base, we're still kind of in shock, right? I think that's a big part of it, but. Again, like no matter what happens, I'm personally expecting Liverpool to go through. But I think they're going to be entertaining games because I think these 2 sides, with the way that they attack, I think are going to match up really, really well against one another, and it's going to be good for the fans, I think. But yeah, we'll wrap up on that note. Want to give our guests a chance to plug anything you guys are working on, and if you want to plug your social, I know people can see Chris's Twitter handle on the screen, but shout that out, Chris, for anybody who's listening to the audio version, and any other social media platforms you want to promote.
C De Santis 05. That's where to find me. Twitter's the best place to hear me complain about Roma. Probably you're gonna hear me complain a lot this weekend facing Atalanta, but we'll see.
Please get something like shithouse a draw.
If we could shithouse a draw, I would be very happy. Just at least at least a draw. That would be great. Maybe we'll get the shitty Atalanta. Who knows? You know what I mean? That's what we can hope for.
Sometimes.
It happens. It happens to them. They'll just put up a stinker and then put up 5 goals the next week. So who knows? That's what we can hope for.
What about you, Jerry? You took like a week off from writing, and you came out of your week-long retirement. Where can people find your latest work?
I'm just writing a news article for MLS expansion team of Las Vegas for this. They're rumored to be the 30th team.
They're going crazy MLS. It's like I didn't realize we needed 30 teams. They're gonna have 40 probably in the next few years.
I think it's smart. I think it makes it more competitive, and I think it needs at least 30 teams at most. And it balances it off. You don't want an odd number, 29. I think you have 15 and 15. Like it works perfect. I'm okay with it. How many teams are there in? No, there's 18 in the Serie A, but it's different.
20, 28.
It's
Where do you get 8?
18. But
Oh,
there's
no,
20.
there's 20.
There's 20,
There's
yeah.
20.
But
Yeah.
it's different. It's just one table. In the MLS, it's 2 separate tables. So it's not
Right.
like all 30 teams are playing each other, right? It's still 15 and 15, and I like the format. It's you want to be different. You don't want to be exactly like Europe. And I think the way you get to the playoffs and you have to like get there, I think it's pretty cool still. So I'm okay with it. I know that we're used to the tradition, whoever comes first in the league, but to each of their own. I guess it's North American style, but at the end of the day, it's yeah. But that's all I have, and I tweeted out an article I wrote about Joaquin Correa. I've had some stuff in the back.
Ooh, I got to
burner.
read that. I'm going to read that tonight.
I wrote about Joaquin Correa, what Inter can expect to him. So
I haven't watched MLS since Andrea Pirlo played in it.
Haha.
well, I'll be there
NYC.
this season. My
NYC.
last
I worked
NYC?
on MLS broadcast for about a year and a half. You're not missing much, believe me, bro. You're not missing too much.
I
You're
didn't
not,
think so.
but it's still fun. It's still fun.
After watching so much European soccer for so many years, European football, I don't know how I would. I'd probably make fun of everybody.
It's not even that.
Just
the
the
times
quality.
when MLS is clutch are like when they go on because the league like it goes through the summer. So if it's like a summer where you don't have like a World Cup or a Euro and then there's not like major matches going on, it's like, oh, hey, at least like there's something on. Like I love the fact that football is like year round. Like there's always somebody in season, right? Like there's an international break or the European leagues are in season. If they're not, South American leagues, North American leagues are in season. So I love the fact that it's year round.
If you love football and you love soccer, it doesn't matter what kind of brand it is, you'll watch it. That's what my buddy said to me. He's like, I love the game. I don't care who's playing. He's like, if you love the game, you'll just watch it.
Yeah.
Mediocre, best.
I'd rather just watch Roma reruns, to be honest.
No, I can
watch
anything.
that Inter game a few more times.
No, please. I have videos on my phone. I can't take it.
I can watch anything. I'm doing MLS this season for TLC, and I had the experience to do one game live, and it doesn't really bother me. Like I just love the game. That's it. So
it's always better live, though.
Yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah.
totally. Yeah,
it's so much
always
different
better
too
live.
when you watch it live. But
MLS needs more support, to be honest. I think if the support would get better, I think it'd be a little more entertaining. But it's just North America. It's not the it's not everyone's cup of tea here. The sport in general.
It's getting better. I think it is getting better. Yeah. But that'll do it for us. I want to send a huge shout out. Let me go through some shout outs in the chat. Our guy Lord Figo was going after Chris. Chris is a good sport, and Lord Figo is a legend. Ivano, one of the great Roma fans out there, who's a frequent commenter. Our guy Jorge, who's our French football and Portuguese football correspondent. We appreciate him as always. My guy Mo from Inter Worldwide. I love seeing Mo. And Mo, by the way, I love his tactical breakdowns are so good. You guys ever get a chance to watch Mo's content? This guy has a football mind. He is awesome. Hamza, thank you so much for all the awesome comments, for tuning in. And man, Faiz 1908, thank you so much for tuning in. Massimo, thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm tired of scrolling, so if I missed anybody who hold on. Toluwani. I want to make sure I hit every syllable there. Thank you so much for tuning in as well. So yeah, guys, so thank you so much for watching the video version of this. If you're watching us on YouTube right now, make sure you smash the like button, hit the like button, and please subscribe.
Fuck up, man. I gotta take a fucking leak, man.
Hold on, I'm about to be done. Smash the like button, subscribe to 5 Reasons Sport, or sorry, that's the other platform on subscribe to Calcio Connection on YouTube. Now Jerry's got me all rattled now. And if you're listening to the audio version of this, please make sure you subscribe to our podcast, Calcio Connection. Hit the subscribe button, leave us a 5-star rating. Huge shout out to Chris and to Jerry. We'll talk to you guys again next time on another episode. It's CC Jerry's private message. I need to fucking piss. Fuck, he said. Go take your
Lazio
pitch, Jerry. We'll
merda.
talk to you guys again next time on another episode of the Calcio Connection podcast.